Hi everyone. Welcome back to Etymology Explorer. Here is your daily dose of etymology. In this video we will explore etymology of the term narcissism. The term narcissism has its roots in both Greek mythology and linguistic history, capturing ideas of self-love, obsession with appearance, and even self-destructive vanity. The following is a brief overview of the root of this term in Greek mythology. In Greek mythology, Narcissus was a beautiful youth, renowned for his physical beauty and pride. He was the son of the river god Cephissus and the nymph Liriope. According to one version of the myth, Narcissus was so beautiful that many people and nymphs fell in love with him, but he rejected all of them, showing disdain for anyone who admired him. The nymph Echo was one of those who loved him. Echo had previously been cursed by Hera, queen of the gods, to only repeat the last words spoken to her. When Echo saw Narcissus, she was captivated by him, but due to her curse, she could not express her love. Eventually, she revealed herself, but Narcissus cruelly rejected her. Heartbroken, Echo faded away, leaving only her voice behind. To punish Narcissus for his pride and lack of empathy, the goddess Nemesis, who embodied retribution, caused him to fall in love with his own reflection. One day, Narcissus saw his image in a clear pool of water. Entranced by the beauty he saw, he tried to reach out and embrace the figure, not realizing it was only his reflection. Unable to pull himself away, he pined by the water's edge, yearning for a love that could never be reciprocated. Consumed by his obsession, Narcissus eventually wasted away, or in some versions, drowned while trying to reach his reflection. In his place, a flower bloomed, the narcissus, a symbol of unfulfilled desire, self-love, and the dangers of vanity and excessive self-admiration. The relationship between Greek mythology and language. The word narcissism entered English through a series of linguistic transformations. The mythological figure Narcissus, Nu Rho Kappa Iota Sigma Sigma Omicron, appears in early Greek literature, with his name stemming from the Greek word narc, Nu Rho Kappa Eta, meaning numbness or stupor. This term likely reflects the sense of paralyzing fascination or self-centeredness associated with Narcissus' fate. The Greek Narcissos was later Latinized as Narcissus, which passed into Western European languages in stories and poetry, eventually reaching English. By the late 19th century, English speakers began to use narcissism to refer specifically to extreme self-love, though at first, it was more of a literary term. The concept gained broader, more specific psychological meaning in the early 20th century, largely due to Sigmund Freud, who explored narcissism in psychoanalytic theory. In Freud's work, narcissism described a type of self-focus or libidinal investment in oneself, with implications for personality disorders and relationships. Historical use and evolution. Before becoming a clinical term, narcissism appeared in Romantic and Victorian poetry as a metaphor for self-obsession, vanity, and the perils of gazing inward in 19th century literature and poetry. Following Freud's work, psychologists developed the term into a formal concept in personality and clinical psychology. Narcissism evolved to encompass not just self-love but traits like entitlement, lack of empathy, and grandiosity in early 20th century psychology. Today, narcissism remains a term that straddles both clinical and everyday language, representing a complex intersection of linguistic evolution, myth, and psychological science. The relationship between language and psychology. The relationship between language and psychology in the concept of narcissism illustrates how language shapes, and is shaped by, the evolving understanding of human behavior and mental states. Language provides the tools for naming, describing, and categorizing psychological phenomena, while psychology gives these linguistic terms depth, theoretical meaning, and practical implications. The word narcissism, in particular, highlights how language evolves to capture complex psychological concepts that often stem from cultural narratives, such as mythology, and are then adapted to scientific and clinical contexts. Language's role in conceptualizing psychological phenomena. In the case of narcissism, language plays a pivotal role in establishing the framework for describing self-oriented behaviors and personality traits. Words and concepts borrowed from ancient narratives or other cultures often become metaphorical language that psychology adopts, reinterprets, and formalizes. When narcissism was first adopted in psychological circles, It had a straightforward meaning linked to vanity and self-love, derived from the myth of Narcissus. However, as psychologists and psychoanalysts, including Freud, explored the concept, the term acquired nuanced, specific meanings that required linguistic adaptation and expansion. Psychology's influence on linguistic evolution. Psychological theories also feed back into language, transforming the terms into broader or more specialized usages. After Freud introduced narcissism in a clinical context, the term evolved to signify specific traits, disorders, and behaviors. Terms such as narcissistic personality disorder and pathological narcissism became part of both scientific and popular vocabulary. In this way, psychological research and clinical findings guide the semantic shift of terms, refining their meaning based on clinical observation and theoretical developments. The interdisciplinary nature of terminology. Words like narcissism are prime examples of how interdisciplinary concepts emerge and evolve. Psychology often borrows terminology from language, mythology, philosophy, and culture to describe phenomena that are initially difficult to articulate. These terms become vehicles for communicating complex ideas to a broader audience, gradually entering the lexicon of common language. The concept of narcissism, for instance, has broadened to capture ideas related to self-esteem, identity, social media behavior, and more, making it relevant across fields such as sociology, literature, and cultural studies. In summary, narcissism reflects the dynamic relationship between language and psychology, where language provides an initial scaffold for new psychological insights, and psychology, in turn, enriches language by adding depth, specificity, and new meanings to words that help society understand the human mind. This synergy ensures that as our understanding of psychological phenomena grows, so does our linguistic capability to describe them. That was your daily dose of etymology. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you soon in the next video. Please like, share and subscribe.